Mindanao Island, Philippines. Here in the middle of an enormous marshland lives a peaceful community of fishermen. But under the stagnant water, a man-eating monster has transformed this paradise into a hell. To save their lives, the villagers had to confront a creature straight out of prehistoric times, a giant crocodile, the largest crocodile in the world. The story could have ended here, but the marsh has many more secrets to tell. International crocodile specialist Marc Gansuana decided to investigate. How have people who have always lived alongside crocodiles in this region of the world become prey? Barely 3 years ago, in the heart of one of the world's largest marshes, no one suspected the existence of a man-eating monster. The Agusan Marsh, 50,000 hectares of flooded jungle, a natural park so large that it remains virtually unexplored. Surprisingly, this patch of land is inhabited. People continue to live here, as they always have, and their ancestors before them. We're on the flooded land of the Manobo people.
How are you? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, sir. Mark.
The Manobo live isolated from the world, far from the flourishing business of the palm oil plantations and gold mines on the rest of the island. These people have virtually nothing, just enough to survive. The villagers have always been able to cope, but today they're fearful.
This is where we live. This is the only place where we can raise our children because of the fish we catch. If we can't fish, our lives would be even harder. We wouldn't have anything to eat.
The Manobo are not alone in getting their food from the lake. The wildlife is so abundant that saltwater crocodiles, the porpoises, have naturally taken up residence, and what had once been a threat to fishermen has now become an absolute nightmare.
The ones that attack are really dangerous. I was attacked over there.
Just here?
Yes, at that bend. The crocodile sunk its teeth into my boat. Can you believe it? Into a boat.
This incident was just a warning. One night, Rowena, barely 12 years old, was savagely attacked.
The crocodile was waiting there. Rowena's boat went by. He attacked and carried her off. Rowena's father was devastated. He nearly went crazy. He couldn't believe what had happened to his daughter. It was hard because we all grew up together.
The crocodile was clearly so large that the victim never had a chance. Rufino Miranda cannot accept that a child died in the lake. Since then, on government orders, he's been patrolling constantly, trying to locate other potentially dangerous crocodiles. Somewhere, concealed in the water hyacinths that are invading the lake, they may be waiting, immobile, on the lookout.
This is the place where Rowena was attacked. Yeah.
Which one?
This one, this area, which has devoid of water lily at the time.
What time was it?
It was 6 o'clock p.m. In the afternoon. Yeah.
And which kind of boat?
The smaller one, the 2-capacity boat.
Like the fishermen use?
Yes, like the fishermen use. The body was found 3 days after Rowena was attacked, about 300 to 400 meters from here.
Okay.
Yeah. It was already bloated with no head. It was the head was being attacked.
Okay.
So
Definitively a crocodile.
definitely it was a crocodile, yeah.
As night falls, the dark countryside becomes truly oppressive. Since Rowena's death, no one is allowed out in the marsh at night. Just as everyone's heart is beating faster and all the senses are sharp, everyone is thinking that they should never have come here. For Jethro, the fisherman, the fear is even more unbearable.
He saw the crocodile Monday night, last Monday night. Last week, yeah. From that creek, he goes inside here. Yeah. He noticed when he was at the junction.
"50 years ago, perhaps more, a baby crocodile was born in the marsh. Still imprisoned in its shell, it let out its first cry. His brothers heard him. Instinctively, they all responded to this call. All the young crocodiles were born at the same time, so that they wouldn't be devoured by predators. And with this, an exceptional crocodile had just entered the marsh. A crocodile whose aggression and power would, several years later, terrify the local population. For Rufino Miranda, superintendent of the Agusan Marsh protected area, the man-animal conflict is a serious problem. When people are not the victims, the crocodile then becomes one. Despite a strict hunting ban implemented 10 years ago, the Manobo did not hesitate to extract revenge.
Somebody had told me that the crocodile was already died, and some of the meat were being eaten by the villager.
Rufino only recovered the skin and skull of the animal. Even the teeth were ripped out and kept as trophies or sold.
Portion.
One day in November, the water level rose by more than 12 feet and the crocodile's territory expanded dangerously. 2 years after the death of the young Rowena, the giant crocodile claimed another innocent victim. It had become a serial killer.
My brother Daniel Oxtero had already seen a crocodile before he was attacked. After that, he didn't fish anymore. A large crocodile had already tried to drown him and devour him, but he managed to escape. Someone arrived with a bright lamp, and he managed to swim to safety.
This time, Daniel Extero miraculously escaped, but the crocodile wouldn't leave him a second chance.
We looked for him with the neighbors. We only found his boat, his hat, his knife, and his bait. There wasn't anything else.
For the Manobo community, this tragic death is one death too many. These crimes cannot go unpunished. Defying the authorities, the hunters decide to set up poison traps to kill the crocodile. But nothing goes as planned. The monster thwarts all the traps and continues to reign as master over his territory.
When this problem about the crocodiles came about, the local government tried to capture that crocodile because it's already a menace to the society.
We will only capture and relocate that crocodile. We will not kill that crocodile, and we will take care of the crocodile.
Under pressure from local authorities, the PAWB, the Philippine Protected Areas and Wildlife Bureau, finally issues a hunting permit. But the instructions are strict. The crocodile must be captured alive. There is no question of killing it. A team of trappers from the village of Nueva Era is appointed for this difficult mission.
We have to stand together to protect ourselves from crocodile attacks because they threaten our lives and our livelihoods.
The men go more than 3 kilometers into the heart of the marsh. There they install a first trap, a snare baited with meat. Only the Manobo are able to travel through such a hostile environment. By the end of the day, the 4th and final trap is set. The next morning in the hills around the rice fields, there is only a single topic of discussion. In just a few hours, the horrible news had spread like wildfire. All the traps had been destroyed and the monster is still at large.
My team leader of my trappers, Sangguniang Bayan Ronald Noel, tried to told me that they will already surrender.
Everyone in Nueva Era village is dismayed. The residents are disappointed as they had such high hopes.
But I intervened already to the situation, and I decide to conduct the Manobo ritual.
The Manobo would say that it's not just an ordinary crocodile. It must be being protected by the spirits.
The Manobo must establish a dialogue with the spirits of nature. The shamans will take over.
I ask the spirits to forgive us if we have offended them in any way at all, and to help us because the people need to fish. Are you the spirits of this territory? I bow down to you and ask forgiveness for all the wrongs done to your land.
The Spanish conquistadors converted the Manobo to Christianity, but the ancestral animist rituals remain to this day.
Listen, I offer you this gift so that my prayer will be answered to you who live in these forests, these rivers, and on this land.
Nagmama-mama ko na.
Nagbabagoy ka pa natin!
Adaw-on. Para ko na. Panagman.
Ang labit mo niyawan, kayo na siyang kailangan!
The spirit said that just prepare your traps and your rope to catch it, and we cannot promise you when it will be caught, but just be prepared.
The local authorities cannot make any more mistakes. They bring in Ronnie Sumiller, an experienced crocodile hunter. Ronnie sets up a powerful snare with a section of steel cable doubled with reinforced rope. By 8 p.m., the last chance trap is set.
Hey. So, morning last trap ng atong kanon, atong diri.
Hindi pa niya pagka-utang niya. Ha?
The local television station is notified in the middle of the night. A cameraman rushes to the scene to film the event.
It was 8 o'clock, and we finished the ritual at around 12.
I don't think whether it is a coincidence or
11 o'clock in the following evening, the crocodile was caught.
The animal is measured, although no one yet realizes that it will break all the records. There's no doubt the crocodile is well over 20 feet long. But the challenge is not yet over. To get to the road, the crocodile has to cross the river. The crocodile makes a triumphant entrance into the village of Nueva Era. The victory of man over beast is total. Ronnie Sumiller, the lead trapper, can be proud. He and his team have just saved the lives of dozens of people, and the crocodile is still alive. News of the capture sends shockwaves around the country. The mayor of Bunuan and all the hunters become true heroes. Ronnie Sumiller then decides to sample the crocodile's stomach in search of human remains and tries to make it vomit. The weight is certainly too great for the crane that is supposed to lift the enormous cage, but there is no other solution. The crocodile has to be raised onto a truck to take it far from the village. The convoy transporting the giant crocodile sets out. Just 20 hours after its capture, the lord of the marsh of Agusan is about to reach its final home, 20 miles from the immense territory in which it was born. Exhausted, the gladiator makes his entrance into the arena. With no one to battle, the animal lets itself slide, beaten, to the bottom of the pool. For the villagers, the nightmare is over. For the crocodile, on the other hand, the struggle to survive has only just begun.
The sign that before is a welcome Bunawan.
Today, Marc Gansuana appreciates the importance of the event. The heart of an entire country beats to the rhythm of the largest crocodile ever captured alive. In tribute to the trapper Ernesto Lolong Cunate, who died of a heart attack during the capture, the men named the giant crocodile Lolong.
See, Mark? That's Lolong.
It's amazing.
We are now going inside the pen of Lolong.
Yeah?
We will get close to him, but please be careful.
Yeah, sure.
Because Lolong is a wild crocodile.
Yeah.
He may attack us anytime he wants. See that?
So big. Can we board there?
Oh, yeah.
One day, the dinosaurs disappeared from the surface of the planet, leaving behind a worthy heir, Lolong, 20 feet 3 inches long, weighing 1.2 tons. A phenomenon, an exception, a miracle in the life of a scientist. Marc, an expert on crocodiles in captivity, flew in specially from Madagascar to study Lolong. In attack position, the crocodile keeps the scientist at a distance. Yet Marc will have to examine the animal, and closely. Lolong has been living here for 6 months. Immobile at the bottom of his pool, he has already lost from 100 to 200 pounds. Marc wants to test his muscle tone. Lolong has clearly not lost any of his power. He seems in perfect health. But will he be able to end his days far from the swamp, behind the fence of an enclosure measuring just 3,000 square feet?
We're able to go a little closer by the fence, and so, I would not want him to chase me.
Over the months, Lolong continues to be a fascinating draw. He is the pride of the region, the island, the entire nation. 200 visitors a day, more than 600 in a single weekend. Money is pouring in, and the politicians are taking advantage of this boon. Full body exposure. This is what the visitors have come to see, a saltwater crocodile in the open, around which an eco-park of several hundred hectares has been built. To ensure visitors' safety, the town went all out. Lolong's enclosure is a fortress under very strict surveillance. Every element was reinforced: bars, steel beams, fencing. Monitored 24 hours a day by surveillance cameras, Lolong is a prisoner who must not escape.
Just amazing. It's like Jurassic Park,
Oh yeah, the purpose of that is for the security reason, to secure the area.
Where is the place?
The place will be finished.
Every day at exactly 5 p.m., Lolong's pool fills with water. Visitors have to leave. The show is over. Tonight is not an ordinary night. Lolong must be fed. The darkness is total. Lolong does not know that men are watching him. Thanks to infrared cameras, every movement is observed and recorded. A failure once again. This has been going on for months. "8 a.m. The crocodile's pool empties out. The show can start up again. And every morning, the crocodile is cleaned like a car. Water is constantly sprayed over Lolong in the empty pool to help him withstand the blistering heat that sometimes exceeds 113 degrees Fahrenheit. Photosynthesis is inevitable. Water and sun cause the proliferation of worrisome colonies of green algae on the animal. Marc now has to pursue his investigation much further. He wants to precisely analyze the crocodile's skin and its enormous scales, the osteoderms. It is exceptional to observe an animal the size of Lolong at such a close distance. It requires a great deal of experience as well as a lot of nerve. Marc now wants to study Lolong's enormous snout, particularly his teeth. The jaw is phenomenal. It has a bite force of over 1.5 tons per square centimeter. These rare images will give the scientist the opportunity to study each of the teeth. They are valuable indicators concerning the state of the animal's health. Teeth from the world's largest crocodile. Fascinating objects for Ronnie Sumiller, but above all, an immense source of concern.
You lost it yesterday, no?
Yes, yes. That's lost yesterday.
Yeah, it seems very normal process. Oh, what is this?
For Marc, the loss of teeth follows a perfectly normal cycle. Less so, however, is the erosion evident on some of them. Ronnie ends up admitting that when the crocodile arrived, it tried to escape by attacking the concrete walls of its prison.
Imagine these teeth can penetrate, can hold as much as 4 inches, like that, in my hands, oh, like that. See that? This is, can penetrate really.
Just a perfect predator, you know?
A perfect predator, an exceptional beast, but above all, the world's largest crocodile ever captured alive. This is all it took to make Lolong an ideal ambassador. Thanks to Lolong, the Philippine government is proud to show the world how it is trying to save the last crocodiles in the Philippines. The crocodile farm near Davao is a showcase. 250 breeders live here in semi-liberty and total safety in a huge territory. This is the middle of the breeding period. After releasing a strong scent of musk to conquer the female, the much larger male is extremely sensitive during mating. Every year from February to May, the female Porosus leaves the protection of the water for land. For 3 months, the mother stays on the enormous nest she patiently fashioned from branches and mud and watches over her offspring, without moving, without eating.
Yeah.
Marc takes some eggs as part of one of the largest animal preservation programs in the world. For more than 20 years, the Philippines have been trying to save its last crocodiles. Victims of unprecedented poaching, the Porosus species is in jeopardy.
15, 20 years old female, you know?
This is normal size for a bigger female, but the small females, this is also a small size.
The cleaned eggs are placed in the farm's incubator in the exact position in which they were found, so that the embryos do not suffer any trauma. Incubated at 88.7 degrees Fahrenheit, all the newborns will be male. Below this temperature, they would all be female. At birth, the small crocodiles weigh an average of 1.8 ounces and are barely 1 foot long.
You have to imagine that the crocodile I'm holding here in my hands could one day become as large as Lolong. Potentially it's possible, though it seems incredible. We're now marking a young crocodile born this year. He's 1 year old and will be released into his summer quarters outside. He'll continue to grow outside, and we mark them so that we can monitor them. Okay, he's off.
To eliminate poaching, the crocodiles will be raised for meat, but especially for their skins. In the Philippines, the sale of crocodile skin is perfectly legal. In return, hundreds of small crocodiles will be reintroduced into their natural environment.
Now I'm with Pangil. He's another large crocodile living in captivity. He's about 18 feet long and he weighs almost a ton. What's really interesting is he was captured 25 years ago in Agusan Marsh, exactly the same place Lolong was captured just a few months ago. It seems Agusan Marsh is the perfect place for crocodiles, and this is where we find the world's largest specimens.
The Agusan Marsh is home to extraordinary crocodiles, exceptional creatures. But there are more surprises in store for Marc. Lolong, the world's largest crocodile, may have been captured by mistake. An even bigger specimen is apparently still at large in the marsh.
We really consider that the other one that live in the creek is bigger than Lolong.
People of Nueva Ecija and San Marcos are still afraid because they knew that the big crocodile bigger than Lolong is still there.
We think that Lolong is not the bigger one.
Are you sure of that?
Yeah, because I seen that's the other crocodile.
Marc, nice to meet you.
It appeared on March 19th. There was a water buffalo right there, and he ate it.
There is still another crocodile here, which the villagers believe to be bigger than Lolong.
It's very, very strange, because if it's a bigger one, you know that it's a male, like Lolong, and you cannot have two big male in a very small creek.
Yeah.
All the witness accounts contradict what scientists have claimed for many years. Large male crocodiles are all dominant creatures. They only allow females to enter their territory. How could two males, each more than 20 feet long, two rivals who must battle to the death, share a single hunting ground? With the approval and support of local authorities, Marc does his utmost to detect this crocodile. He receives a special authorization to spend the night in the heart of the marsh.
We're near the water, fairly isolated, so we have to be careful. I'll get a little closer. Obviously, if I see it, it'll be tricky, but we won't take any risks.
As his investigation begins, Marc decides to set up camp where two rivers meet, barely 1 mile from the village. He places an infrared camera on the bank. The first nighttime observation does not produce any results. Marc repeats the experiment for days, meticulously following the investigative plan he had established. He discusses the situation with Ronald Neuer, the head trapper, and tries to gather a maximum amount of information. The banks of Lake Mihaba may be the key.
And the last time the villages have seen the big crocodile?
Last week?
The last week?
Yes.
Oh, it's very close. If it was the last week, maybe it is still there.
Maybe.
A genuine threat once again hangs over the village. A huge crocodile is once again on everyone's mind, but that's not the worst of it.
I can even recommend for 6 because I can hear some noise of the baby crocodile and a bigger crocodile. Yes. Yeah, sounds like that.
We will use this tree, huh?
Marc can count on help from the Manobo trappers to identify the suspect. As the Philippine government has not issued a new capture permit, Marc can only set up photographic traps to determine if the villagers are right.
Electrician ta?
Equipped with an ultra-sensitive captor, the camera can take images by day and night if anything moves in front of it.
When the water is high, crocodile will just free to go anywhere. But when the water is low, just confined in this area. Kung taas ang tubig, balik na.
Okay, let's go.
Marc decides to install his last camera at the same spot where Lolong was captured. If his knowledge of crocodiles and his instincts are correct, it is likely that another male has already taken his place.
Okay, there, I managed to set 4 photographic traps. It's time to go to bed now. It's late.
Voilà, à demain.
See you tomorrow.
Ah, c'est génial.
Oh, that's brilliant. I'm not sure that this is the large crocodile the villagers have been chasing. It's hard to tell from the images, but extraordinary.
The image speaks for itself. Marc was right. A large crocodile is indeed prowling around the village, exactly where Lolong had been. New safety precautions have been issued. The Manobo are warned. To save their lives, they were brave enough to confront Lolong, the world's largest crocodile. Soon, they will have to capture an even larger animal. Ronnie explains to Marc that the town of Bunawan has already planned for everything. The immense enclosure intended for the crocodile is 3 times larger than Lolong's. Capturing crocodiles is one thing. Keeping them in good health is something else entirely. Recently, large white plaques have appeared on Lolong's feet, sides, and back. Concern is growing every day.
So we treated it as a fungal infection with betadine, then apply it with fungal ointment. This is 3 times in a day, in the morning, in the afternoon, and also before 5 o'clock.
For Marc, This skin depigmentation is symptomatic. Lo Long is not well, and betadine won't help at all. Marc wants to try something else to get Lo Long to eat. He decides to set up his own equipment, a hypersensitive camera and infrared lighting. Lo Long absolutely must accept the food offered. Concealed inside are several pills, essentially calcium, phosphorus, and vitamins.
It's too big, isn't it? Way too big. It's 10 kilos.
A few liters of water help him swallow. Lo Long has finished his meal. This morning, the shamans have come to pray and negotiate with Lo Long for the arrival of a new crocodile.
He agrees with your request, but on one condition. He needs a better place to live.
We cannot judge what is happening. Yet the fact is that ancestral beliefs still link the Manobo to the spirits and forces of nature. The shaman intercedes and tells everyone what the spirits want.
An offering must be made before the other crocodile is captured. He needs to have a roof.
Yes, a roof. The spirits want a roof for Lo Long. Otherwise, he and the other crocodile will die.
As implausible as it may seem, the shaman is right. The report Marc is about to give to Edwin Elord, the mayor of Bunawan, includes suggestions for the construction of a roof to protect Lo Long. But that's not all. Depriving him of water during the day to facilitate public viewing will lead to certain death.
So this is my suggestion, and it's two things very, very easy to do. It's still a compromise between your need and the management captivity of Lo Long.
For Marc, exposing Lo Long to the public under the blazing sun is a tragedy. He must be able to regulate his own body temperature. When the heat is too intense, he has to find shelter, a protected area where he can take refuge. In addition, Filling and emptying the pool every day puts the animal in a permanent state of stress. Lolong is not well, even though he is still growing. The monster will certainly get larger.
It's amazing because he's 40 to 50 years old, and when you think that crocodiles continue to grow throughout their lives, it's possible that he could be 21 feet long in a few years, maybe even 23 feet within 20 to 30 years. We think they have a life expectancy of over 80 and maybe even 100 years, so anything's possible. But this can only happen if Lolong is placed in optimal conditions of captivity. As surprising as it may seem, I'm just a few dozen yards below Lolong's enclosure. I like to imagine that one day we could dedicate this type of natural site to Lolong. It's truly an exceptional site that offers all the necessary conditions. This is something we're going to follow carefully.
Lolong will end his days behind bars. The Philippine government has declared it so. But capturing crocodiles is only a temporary solution. We must remember that these animals were here long before men. If we want to show humility and respect, we should certainly one day be able to live in peace with the saltwater crocodiles, the ones known here as the Lords of the Marshes. A few months later, the Philippine authorities announced the death of Lolong. According to the autopsy, the crocodile died from fungal pneumonia, with a deficiency of several organs having resulted in a cardiac arrest. The Philippine government has decided to launch an investigation into the containment conditions of saltwater crocodiles, promising significant improvements in the quality of their lives in captivity.